Writer's Room. My name is Montgomery Harris, the Steampunk Wordsmith, and tonight we'll be resuming what we started last week, the science fiction adventure, which also had a bit of mystery and intrigue to it. Again, I will be joined by the same guests as last week, so we'll be continuing the story. And without further ado, let me bring my guests back on, and we'll say good evening. But thank you all for being here. And make sure you engage us in the comments before we start. We're always happy to see what you guys are saying. Um, so, without further ado, here are my guests.
And welcome back, guys. You can unmute there.
Thank
Hello.
you.
Um, Let me just introduce everyone to you. I'm going to start at the top of the screen and work my way around in a clockwise direction. So, Juniper, welcome back.
Hello.
Have you had any thoughts about the story since last week?
I had some time to read over it, and I'm a little nervous to see what we're gonna do from here forward.
And I'm really appreciate that because happy new house.
Thank you.
Um, but I do have one question for you. What do you think is as an author, what do you define as your degree of success? When would you consider yourself to be a successful author?
Oh, oh, that's a question.
Yes, it is.
Honestly, there's a couple of different ways, but on a personal level, I wrote a book. I wrote a book that's published that people can buy. To my own personal standpoint, I think that's a successful run through as far as an author goes.
That's a great answer.
hmm
That is a great answer. And I agree wholeheartedly. Um, so welcome back. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
JJ,
Yes,
welcome back,
sir.
mate. Now
Thank you.
you are an unpublished author. Yeah, you're still
Y-
writing your first mystery story.
yes,
Um,
sir.
did you find any improvement in your way of approaching writing since last week?
Honestly, I haven't written since last week, so.
Really? Well, that's an effect, isn't it? Um, Let me ask you this question: as a new writer, before you started sitting down and writing, what was your biggest challenge for yourself before you started writing?
Just finding a point to start.
Yeah, you want
That was my biggest thing. Once I got the right motivation, it just flew.
okay, so when you found the right motivation, you knew what to do. What did you do to find that motivation, or did it just come to you out of the blue, or you was going through your research notes and you sort of go, that, you know, what was your,
I was talking Silas.
well, that's a good motivation, you know.
Yep.
Okay, well, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Silas,
Thank you.
Yes.
welcome back, buddy. My
Thank you.
co-host. And you've now written, is it 4 books total you've got published?
I have four novels and two novelettes.
Two novellas. What's the biggest difference for you between writing a novella or novelette and a full-length book, apart from the obvious, the word count? But what do you think is the biggest difference in your approach to writing a novella or a full-length novel?
The depth of the character developed in a novel is really not about the scene and everything, even as much as about the story, as it is about how the story affects the characters, and you really go into that character development and pull them through. In a shorter work like a novella or a novelette, because you have less space to work in, you have less of an opportunity to develop that character, and it is more about the story with some of the character development, because a story without character development is going to be very dry. Um, but you don't develop it to that same great detail that you do in a novel.
Yeah, you don't develop it the same way. So my next follow-on question would be for you. How do you as a writer feel that you're satisfied you've given a character enough when you're writing a novella?
When I feel their emotion,
Okay.
when I'm writing and I can see this turmoil that this character is going through or their frustration, or I can identify with the antagonist, for example, and say, now I know where this person is coming from. When I can do that, that's when I feel like it really reached it. I had a friend who was formerly trained in academia for writing, and he started asking me a bunch of questions like, what's in your character's refrigerator? And what's in their waste bin? And all these other kinds of questions. And I would just answer them off the cuff. And then I finally said, why are you asking me all these questions? And he said, well, in school, they asked us these questions to determine how well you know your characters. I said, oh, I've written 4 books on them. I had better be able to answer these questions. And that's really an illustration of how well you get to know your characters. When you are so comfortable with them that you can answer those types of questions, you know your characters. And that means that your readers are going to know your characters if you've expressed it well.
Yeah, I mean, it's my number one rule. If I can't empathize with a character, they don't go in the book. Because if I can't empathize with I've created them, neither can the writer, the reader.
Right.
Um, let's move on with the story, our sci-fi story, and Silas has he's prepared a complete breakdown of what went on last week. So, Silas, take it away with the first act, please.
After the Martian spaceship is blown up, our protagonist, Mary Tarthus, is promoted to first in command and write letters notifying the next of kin. She feels responsible for their deaths and attempts to overcompensate in her leadership style. Mary reaches out to her deceased mother via a hologram of the mother's downloaded consciousness. She answers to a politician without enough clout who desires to create a utopia. They're a people pleaser who can't please everyone. The new second in command is a genderless Martian, an intelligent person. This second in command leads by leading to the answer, not answering directly. Approaching Mary, the second in command brings forward a decrypted transcript of the communication between the bad guy and their lackey. But the voice is masked, so they can identify who the speaker is. They indirectly suggest monitoring all communications to be able to pinpoint the source of the transmission to find the speaker. As Mary tries to build a new crew, she finds herself without a key person, unless she is willing to accept someone. She reaches out to her mother about how to handle the situation, and her mother provides motivation. As Mary rebuilds, Earth announces their rocket will be ready for launch in 6 months' time. Meeting with her leader, they decide to steal part of Earth's rocket to help in efforts to rebuild and to delay Earth's progress.
Dun, dun, dun. There's a Saturday morning picture show ending for you, right? So that was the end of Act 1. And we are going to go into Act 2 tonight. So, like Act 1, there is 3 levels, and I am just going to pull up levels 4 through 6 for you right now on the screen. And as you can see, they are our levels. So we're going to start with level 4, which is more about the bad guy, the B story, and exploring the world. And as we finished on Silas last week, we are going to go to JJ this week to start things off. And so, JJ, you're in at the deep end, buddy. Which one of these would you like to take?
Honestly, I don't know where I put that page now. Can you name them real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry.
Not a problem. You have a bit more about the bad guy, the B story, or exploring the world. And I can give you a rundown of what each of those mean when you've chosen them. Or unless you need me to do that now.
Let's go with explore the world.
Okay. And just for the viewers out there, exploring the world is really our chance to let our imagination run wild and say, okay, this is Mars, we're living in dome, this is what the dome looks like, this is what the transportation is, this is what daily life looks like, this is what it's like to walk through the street. Because we've already introduced the character into a world that our promises in the first act, now we can deliver on a few of those promises and explore the world with our reader. And I do allocate this about 4 chapters, 5 chapters in the outline plan. So you picked a good one there, mate.
Thank you.
Take it away.
Okay. Well, so okay. Sorry, I spaced part of that. My mind's not all here. It's been a problem all week. So the concept is just kind of. I am so sorry. Can you
JJ,
explain it
want to
one more time?
explore the world? If we want to explore the world, what do you think about us using the genderless Martian, delivering the letters to those who were deceased from the spaceship blowing up?
Yeah, I mean, the way I approach exploring the world is I always realize you might want to grab a pen for this, viewers as well. The way I always look at when I'm exploring the world, I don't look at the big institutions at the top. Like, I don't look at the Parliament, the Williams, and all that kind of stuff. Those are your hierarchies of world building. I look at the middle arc, which is daily life, transportation, professions, um, eating, entertainment, that kind of stuff. So I look at the world on that mid-level, like what people do through their daily life. How do they get around? What do they eat? Who do they talk to? Um, what do they look forward to at the end of the working day? What do they look forward to during the working day? Or what do they dread about both? Do they dread going home so they're a workaholic? That kind of stuff. So that's the way I approach it. What is that middle tier in daily life like for your characters?
And we're going with the genderless, right?
That's
Or
up to
just
That
you.
was
in
just an
general?
idea for you to consider, but you can lead it however you want.
Well, I mean, we could go with the genderless. That might be a little tricky, but it's a good point to start. Um, I would say, if she's if I don't even know the pronoun to use for the genderless.
MA, it becomes the same.
Them, they. Um, if the second in command is not at work, considering um, you know, their second in command, then I would say they're probably some kind of workaholic. So I could see them going home and being antsy, maybe staring out into space, looking at Earth, wondering. Um, I'm not really sure how we should depict how it looks outside. I know it's a red planet, but how's the sky look? You know what I mean?
You tell me.
Is it is it going to be dark, or is it going to be like a reddish hue at night? And I think the reddish hue at night, but not too red, would be kind of cool. So it gives Earth kind of a haze, you know. And I think that's something to really put in there because I mean, Earth's right there. It's where everyone's from. You can't really expect them not to be curious about it. And I think that would probably go with anyone on the planet, regardless of class. So that's going to be a interesting thought process there. Um, otherwise, I'm not
So
really sure.
I'm going to ask you a few leading questions, and I'm going to ask you another one to do so as well. So
There we go.
they're looking out of the window. What are they looking out the window of? An apartment, or are they inside a big biodome? So they're looking through the glass of their apartment at the glass of the biodome, and then through the haze at Earth. Like, what kind of habitat do they live in? What do their what does their apartment look like?
Well, considering it's going to be probably some kind of military housing, I'm going to say probably a mini apartment type barracks thing. Different stories, so everyone has their own space, not all in one big space, but basically basic living as well because you're always on the move.
That's something we could talk about when we're exploring the character later
Yep.
on. But has anyone else got any leading questions? I've got a couple, but has anyone else got any ones?
Well, my concern is that we don't turn this into a info dump, that we express it through the views of the characters. Now we've got so far the genderless Martian going home and pondering things. Giving them something to do would, I think, be helpful. The most natural thing is going to be presenting the letters. They're going to show up with other representatives of the agency and present the letters to those who've been deceased. That will allow us to explore more of the planet as well as the character and see through the character's eyes.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
I would also say let's go from where they're constructed. First of all, shall we give them a name? The rather than saying the genderless Martian all the time, let's give them a name.
How about Tono Devaris?
Tona Devaris.
Totally made that up.
Yeah, it's a bastardization of Tona Devaris, so I like it.
Yeah.
So
I have no idea who that is. Okay.
neither do I, but it works.
Okay.
I'd have a hard time remembering it, but
Yeah,
we could definitely work with that.
Tona Devaris. Okay. I would like to see a scene where, um, like, the 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 giant spaceship is being built somewhere. So wouldn't it be cool to have like, I forgot our protagonist name from last week.
Our
Mary.
protagonist is Mary.
Mary.
Yeah. So if we had Mary and Tonna taking a monorail from the site of where the ship's under construction and the training center into the city on this big monorail um, that goes around Mount Olympus on Mars. Because Mount Olympus is so big, it actually sticks out through the atmosphere. It's the largest mountain in the galaxy, in the solar system. So what if the top of Mount Olympus was where they were actually building the giant spacecraft, and then the city is around the base of Mount Olympus? Because that'd be a really cool visual, wouldn't it? And then
Oh yeah.
we have a monorail coming down into the main city where all these domes are, and all these domes are lit by this monorail. That might be a really cool thing to do. And they're talking about the the paradox of trying to get a new crew excited to come on board at the same time as writing the letters to the deceased. So you've got excitement, they're having to show excitement on one end and then turn around and show grief on the other. And we could have um, Tana explaining that because because they are non-binary, they understand the complexity of living with two sets of emotions all the time, or seeing things from two different.
Right down, Albert. Sorry,
Uh,
sorry.
Seeing things from two different points, like having two sets of conflicting feelings all the time. She volunteers to take the letters because she knows how to express. She's had to
Okay, so
leave. She knows.
if I summarize, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say she would know because she's very comfortable in the Martian race and very uncomfortable with non-binary people. They have got used to having this set of today I am more in touch with my feminine genders than I am with my masculine genders, you know? So they're used to having those different feelings and having to channel how they feel for the day. I'm not non-binary, but I'm assuming that that is a challenge for the non-binary community. Whatever you feel on each day, how you know, and that might be why they volunteer to take the letters to the families of the deceased, and we can actually describe the planet as they're having that conversation as well.
Makes sense.
So, do I have this summary correct? Tana Devaris is the genderless, goes around to those lost families and presents letters, then meets up with Mary to go on the monorail to Mount Olympus for construction of the new spaceship.
I was going to have it there coming from Mount Olympus into the city. They're having the discussion first, and then maybe Tana goes home, we see her apartment, and then she leaves. She dresses into a dress uniform, and they dress into their. I'm really sorry for members of the non-binary community. I always trip up on the damn name. I am sorry. I am working on it. Um, but they then go out to deliver the letters, and that's how we see the world. So the other way around, Silas. That's how I was thinking.
Okay. I rewrote the summary. The next thing is our world does not consist of just Mars. We're going to be going to Earth to steal the um, part that we decided, some key part of the rocket.
Yeah,
Um, so, do we want to develop that at this point?
I would say we're exploring the world right now, so we could switch POVs and go back to Mary, hiring a gang of, hiring a group of mercenary types, maybe. I mean, this is JJ's piece, but if we give a task to Mary that involves preparing to steal the engine, that could be part of the exploring the world as well, because then we can introduce the underbelly of the cities, you know?
Well, we would first have to figure out, where they'd be stealing it from,
Yeah.
and um, I'm pretty sure we would have her be talking to, you know, her that rep guy. I forgot his name. Basically, the one that's ahead of her for rank.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't
Um,
have a name for that one yet.
okay.
I'm going to
Well,
give a suggestion. I'm going to say Medley Simmons.
what?
Say that slower.
Medley Simmons.
Okay.
So we
That's
would
my
have.
suggestion.
I got no ideas for his name, so that'll work. So Mary would talk to Medley.
Yeah,
Was the first name?
yeah.
Yeah.
And discuss their plans for that. And then there would probably be the second in command there at some point because I mean she would have to be in on enough of the to-do list in order to, you know, properly help. Um,
Let's not pull in the second in command because we just sent them on a mission to go around and talk to a whole bunch of people delivering letters. And that puts them in pieces and doing two different things at the same time.
okay.
And I don't know how you guys feel, but although I believe she'll discuss the plan with this guy, because he's going to be Medley is going to be the leader when they move to another planet, right? He's already been told that. That's why he's in charge now. And when they get to Alpha Centauri, he's going to be the interim president while the settlement's being done. I would say there has to be a degree of plausible deniability as well, which is why it has to be an off the books mission.
Yeah, I thought we knew it was going to be off the books. But I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, that means she wouldn't have to come up with the plan. Basically, he sends her the idea and then she goes with it. Um, well, that makes it trickier because who would she talk to get this up and rolling?
Well, I was thinking of some kind of space mercenaries, like
That would
So
help.
we have to keep in mind if we have Mary talking with Medley, Medley is the antagonist.
no, he's not.
If they're planning on doing something,
Medley's not the
Medley's
antagonist.
going to want to sabotage it. Huh?
Medley's not the antagonist.
No, he is the one that's going to,
The antagonist is still
yeah,
still on scene.
Who's Medley?
Medley's
our
the
boss.
boss, the guy she reports to, the guy that Mary reports
That's
to.
who we flagged was the antagonist before.
No, it was two separate people before. We said we
Oh.
only see the back of the person that the intern was talking to. Because Medley was there when they listened to the recording.
Yeah, the bag or the antagonist is a high up um
Martian.
rep, politician, and Medley was a what was it, another politician, but
It
higher
was,
up or something.
I think we said, because I think it was Juniper who created this guy. He was some kind of low level politician, right?
Oh, yeah,
He
I
was
think
like
so.
a civil servant, community leader kind of guy. Because the actual leadership that was going to go to Alpha Centauri were all one tech. That's how I remember it being last week. So Medley kind of like, he was a utopian thing, but he was considered
Yeah,
a joke. I'm sorry, my dog's barking because somebody snapped on the floor.
I just
Poli-
got confused.
yeah, the
So I didn't
politician she
understand
answers
the
to.
plot there.
Okay. We'll discover that even more about the villain.
Still,
I think Silas froze.
Silas, you there?
Uh-oh.
Technical difficulties.
Oh,
okay, there you guys are back.
Oh,
He's going to come back in.
yep.
Sorry about that, folks, that are out there viewing. I have no control over the internet. Can you hear us all right, Silas? Mic check?
Yeah, I think I might be having internet difficulties.
So yeah, they determined it's an off the books mission.
Okay.
I think it's a good opportunity to show us more about the world, like not just see the bright, pretty parts, but actually see the dirty, pretty parts as well.
Well, then we would have Mary go to the slums of Mars to find those mercenaries.
The mercenaries need to be on Earth if they're going to be attacking them.
Not if they're space mercenaries, because then they go back and forth. Mercenaries are universal, so they'll be all over the place.
Okay, let me just check something.
Just a thought.
They could be Lunarians. as well. That could be fun to introduce that. What do you guys think? That there's not just Martians and
Can you
Earth.
repeat it one more time? My volume got a little low.
That there's not just Martians and Earthlings. There's also Lunarians.
Oh yeah, because they would have gone to the moon before Mars and whatnot.
Okay, I just checked how many light years Mars from Earth, and it's 15.85 light minutes. So we're good on being able to move back and forth between Earth and Mars,
Yeah.
given the speeds of our book.
It's a day and a half journey, right? That's the speed we're talking about.
If they're traveling near the speed of light, it'll be a few minutes.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. I've got to ask for a sci-fi question here, all right? I know in Star Trek they say they can do Neptune in 6 minutes. Neptune and back in 6 minutes, right? At warp 4. Can you travel at the speed of light in system? Or do you have to be of light but high speed? Can
That's
you
a good
travel at
question.
light speed?
The real question is acceleration and deceleration. Um,
Well,
but
usually in
if we do
space,
15.85 light minutes, so light takes Mars to go between Earth and Mars, it takes 16 minutes. Let's just say that.
at the speed of light.
So even if we're at less than that, if we made it a couple hours, we can still have a team moving back and forth between Earth and Mars.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know you cannot send a message faster than matter. Like even if you, I'm sorry, I'm going to be all technical now. Speed can only travel at one consistent. You can't increase the speed of sound. So if you're sending a transmission waves only move at one speed. But matter can travel faster than sound. That's why we can make the sound better. So it'd be quicker to move than it would be to transmit, wouldn't it? Because it takes 2 hours for the transmission to reach Mars.
That's a weird concept.
Well,
It's because of how we're transmitting things, but we're talking about in the future, and they actually, through quantum entangled particles, are able to make transmission of data go faster. So we'd be able to assume that they would be able to communicate as fast as they could travel.
But it would have to be
Oh,
a light
wow.
beam. It would have to be on a beam of light. The message would have to be on a beam of light.
It's pretty complicated, these
Yeah.
quantum entangled particles.
Yeah.
Basically, if I have a particle here and I have a particle in Japan, a change here is reflected instantly as a change in Japan. It doesn't have to traverse the space in between. They're quantum entangled, and that particle will reflect that change. And so that's how we're able to get quantum messaging.
more or less, the message teleports.
Currently, that's a new kind of research, but we're talking about being able to approach the speed of light. So this is distance in the future, and we can assume that they would have quantum entangled communication at that point.
And they would be impossible to hack. Because as soon as you change, it's changed again. You never be able to match it.
Um, yeah, and that doesn't exactly apply to these, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, that is actually 100% scientifically proven. At this present moment in time, science um, science does not allow for sound to travel faster than matter in space. Matter moves faster than sound.
By sound, you mean a message?
Yeah. Well, sound waves are,
Yeah.
like the frequency of sound is different to the frequency of.
Well, there is no sound in space.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's
Okay.
excuse me. That's why
We got
acceleration.
really nerdy there, but that's why you gotta
Yeah,
love sci-fi, right?
yeah. Like acceleration and deceleration, because you're traveling at speeds where consistent speed doesn't exist. You can't have a consistent speed in space. You're either accelerating or decelerating. You're never traveling at one constant. Well, yeah, you might do.
I haven't heard that one,
Well,
but
if you have a rocket, there's no resistance to stop you, so you will continue to accelerate to the point that you run out of fuel, and then the forces of other gravitational forces within the solar system will start to affect that. So when a rocket
you can
leaves,
counter your acceleration to be 0. If your acceleration is 0, then you'll sustain your speed.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's very hard to sustain that when you pass.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
saying it's easy.
Yeah, it's like anyway. It's if you watch The Expanse, it's how they managed to catch up with the ship that's going to Earth. But anyway, sorry.
So if Mary is speaking with Medley regarding plans on Earth, we have to get somebody to Earth because the whole point of this section is to develop the scene of what's on Earth.
Well, it's to develop the scene of what's in the entire world. So if we see um, Connor delivering the messages and going to her department, we see David living. We can see more transportation through the world as then she can go to the underworld. Maybe if we reveal that she was part of the underworld at one point, and that's how she knows her way around, and that's how she knows the mercenaries. And then the mercenaries, another chapter, the mercenaries go to Earth and you see what Earth looks like. And you can, especially if they're Lunarians, they can they live on the moon, but they can transport between Earth in the matter of you know 2 or 3 minutes. Um, it's like it's the next stop on the space train, isn't it? But we can actually see the lunar base. We can see the giant space stations that are building the ship, and we can also see Earth as well. That's what the purpose of exploring the world is. We pass the characters on. The way I equate it when I wrote up this thing, it's like the Aaron Sorkin talk and walk. You can see everything else that's going on in the background as they're walking and talking. Um, Close Encounters of the Third Kind does this brilliantly. You know the opening scenes of Close Encounters? You see Richard Dreyfuss's character in his small world, but you also see all the scientists in their bigger world at the same time. And it's that big world meeting this small world that come together at Devil's Night. I'm completely nerding out tonight. I'm really sorry, guys. I went full nerd.
Yeah, you did.
I'm sorry.
So that covers both exploring Earth and exploring Mars, right? So that defines our world.
Yeah, that's that section done. It's Juniper's turn now.
I was honestly gonna look into going into the antagonist background because you want to see what gives the bad guy their motive to do what they're doing.
Exactly, and you just covered basically what this part's supposed to do. Give us motivation for the antagonist. The antagonist has to be equally motivated as the protagonist. They have as much to lose and they have as much at stake, but the motivations are completely different. That's what this is supposed to do. So in this section, I'm looking for you to name the character. I'm also looking for you to give us a motivation for them. And tell us something about that.
We should give him a stupid name like Boris.
Yep. If you want to, it's completely up to you. You can tell the name.
No offense to anyone who might be watching called Boris.
And my apologies for Juniper.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, a name that's not, like, out there, a part of, like, because you've got, like, Tarthus, and, like, no, just give him a kind of a plain, boring name, because it's not something that strikes fear. It's almost comical.
Yeah. Somebody's just closed their coffee and lid, I think, in the background there. I could hear rusty hinges. That. But yeah, give them whatever name you like. It's up to you.
But I was gonna give one dude like some family problems, like dive into his family, dive into his personal life, like make him about to lose something serious. I'm not really sure what, because I don't know much about the space world. I'm just really good at character developing and developing backstories.
What do people with power and money fear the most?
More money, more power.
That's what they seek the most. What do they fear the most?
Losing it.
There you go. So if you want to tell us about this, why does he fear losing his power? What for that is that? That's the kind of question that you're asking. The space thing is secondary to the character.
I mean, loss of status is a scary thing. If you have control and power over people and you're getting ready to lose that control, it's hard to be in a position of power and then being threatened to lose it.
Yeah. So my question to you is, what's happening to make him potentially fear that he's going to lose his power?
I think he goes undercover and goes rogue and defends the other side.
Earth, you mean? I'm a little bit confused. Like, he he's in league with Earth on this.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
because he wants to stay on Mars. That's why he blew up the ship, or had the ship blown up.
And he's about to get found out because he's being a double agent.
And what happens to make him be almost found out? And is he gonna slot that person? Slot means kill.
I mean, you could go personal and have him sleep with somebody on the other side and get a little personal.
Go for it. Sexual intrigue. Love it.
So get him involved with somebody. He gets a girlfriend. He starts blabbing about what he does kind of carelessly, and that girl understands what that means and goes to threatens to turn him in.
And does
Ooh,
he?
blackmail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does what does he? We could really get into the character and how far they're willing to go here. What does he do once he starts getting blackmailed?
Maybe starts by paying her off a little bit until he realizes that it's just going to keep going on.
I think he would start to scare her first. You start by intimidation tactics. You scare somebody first, then you start paying them off.
Well, if the person's scared, why would he pay them then?
Because the scare tactics aren't working.
Oh
Well,
yeah, there you go.
people fear more than they fear being afraid. So they would actually turn on you then at that point. They would actually see that. They would snitch. They'd see that as their only way out. And you know, the way my mind works, I want to see someone pushed out of an airlock onto the surface of Mars and see what happens to their body, and have him watch it with complete disregard.
Well, if you think about it, eventually he's going to get fed up with, being blackmailed. He could always like invite her to come live with him on Mars and then jettison her out into space.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
You've got a bit more about the antagonist. We have to see the antagonist, how far they're willing to go in this section,
Yeah.
so that when they meet the protagonist, because they haven't met directly yet, you know that there is such a strong threat for the protagonist, because the protagonist will do anything to overcome their obstacles, but the obstacles that the antagonist places in, they will stop at nothing to make that wall higher and stronger. You know, that conflict has to be there. It has to be like, you can't have a weak antagonist and a strong protagonist. They have to be as close to equal as you possibly can.
Yeah.
It's a prize fight. You have to be equal in intelligence, motivations, strength, physical capability, intelligence, whatever the clash is going to be. If it's a meeting of the mind, they have to be equally intelligent. If it's a fight, if it's a fist fight, they have to be equally strong and tough. So we have to see, by seeing, it makes a promise to the reader that if you are willing to see the antagonist go this far, how far will the protagonist go? We know that the protagonist would steal an engine. She's already suggested that. We know that the antagonist will airlock someone. What's going to be next? That's how
I
you get.
think that airlocking somebody on a planet is a little difficult. Can
No,
we airlock somebody on Earth?
Well,
But what if we infected them with a flesh-eating Martian virus?
Ooh, I like that idea.
what, and kept them in the tank and just watched them develop slowly? Is that what you're
I
saying?
wasn't thinking that sadistic. I was thinking more along the lines of you blackmailed me, and so here's the thing. And then I can see her taken to the hospital, and they've got her in ICU. And he comes up to her and says, "You were so beautiful at once, but your personality was uglier than your face," and just lets her die.
it's definitely good, but we weren't talking about airlocking on the planet. Like I said, have her come live with him on Mars and on her way jettison her.
Oh, I was talking about doing it on Mars. So. But anyway,
Well,
he's got
yeah.
he's got it's your character at this point, Juniper. What do you want to do? How much of a bastard do you want to make him?
You're muted.
You muted.
Sorry, my door is very loud in the motorhome. I honestly really like the way JJ went with it. Just kind of like on a personal level, on a relationship level, just kind of go into the blackmailing, go into, go into the living together phase and get to the, I think I know you, I think I can trust you with my secrets. Oops, something spilled out. Oh, now I've got you.
Okay. How far are they willing to go though? Are they going for the flashy little virus, the airlocking?
I like the virus. I really like the virus because it's slow and it's subtle.
And now we
Yeah,
can
it's
call him Silas the Virus then. That is your new nickname. Henceforth, Silas. Silas the Virus. That's from
Somebody
Con
else
Air.
calls me that. It's a quote from something.
Con Air, it's Cyrus the Virus.
Osmosis
Oh.
Jones, isn't it?
Osmosis Johnson. I don't know.
It's a movie.
It's been a long time since I saw that. Yeah, it's a live
Yeah.
action animation with Chris Rock and Bill Murray. He eats the egg on the floor.
Yep. So
2
gross.
seconds. Yeah. Okay then, so that's the bad guy. The bad guy is gonna show us how bad they're willing to go. That leaves B story for me, right?
Yep, sure does.
Yep.
Okay. So the B story is the space mercenaries. Okay, and the space mercenaries are gonna arrive on the moon, which is their home, and they're gonna sort of like work their way in and see how they can steal this engine. And they realize they don't have to actually go to the spaceship and steal the engine. They can just steal an engine. They're making multiple engines on the moon already. The moon is basically an industrial workplace. It's got a core of iron, you know.
That makes sense.
And they found a way to turn moon dust into material, you know. So it's like a constant farm of moon dust, and they're turning them into these spaceships, and they're using corrugated plastic to make the frame and everything. So they've got these super light airframes and everything, and they realise that they can steal the engine without damaging the ship, which is outside of their contract. Their contract says that they were supposed to slow the other ship down. So the good idea fairy arrives, and they say, okay, we can take the engine and we can do something else to sabotage it. Sabotage the Earth ship. And they said, one of them says, how do you suggest we sabotage it then? And he said, just like we did with the Martian job. That's the end of the B story.
Sounds
Well,
good.
that's the start of the B story. But you find out the mercenaries she hired are actually the ones who worked with the Lackey that destroyed the Martian ship.
Ooh, plot twist.
Twist it up and bring it out. Ooh, we really want to twist it, don't we?
What better way to make money than to
Everybody
create
do this at the screen now.
problems?
Ooh, really had to twist it.
There we go.
Really twist it. Okay then, so we're going to go on to, before we start with Mr. Virus over here, we are going to take a look at the level 4 again. And, sorry, level 5, because that's where we're going next. So, through level 5, who's got the cheat sheet on them because my screen is coming up right now. Mhm. Okay. So, which one of those do you want, Silas? I'll explain what the
I'll just start from the left to the right
Okay,
and go with the first test.
the first test. Okay. So, in this, something has to happen, which is where the antagonist and the support cast realize that they're not such hot shit after all. You know, like they have it's sort of like their confidence is high. They feel pumped up. They're all ready for this. They feel like they can go. this is a test that sort of like it's either going to affirm their belief or it's going to take them to a place where it gives them a false sense of confidence. And you see, I'm going to use the Alfred Hitchcock thing. You see the bomb under the table, but they don't. Or it's going to be something that is. It looks like if they think it's a big deal and it turns out to be super easy, and you realise they haven't been testing at all. But you know what I mean? They haven't really been tested. They think they've achieved something great, but they haven't because it was actually something a little big, but it was quite trivial. I'll give you an example. They're sort of like, are we going to break out of the prison? And then they're all, this is in the second story. Are we going to break out of the prison? And you see them drawing all these plots of the tunnel that they're going to dig and everything. And one guy walks in and just opens the door. And they walk out. So, that's a funny version of it, but it shows that they've got hot shit syndrome. Um, and that's either going to bite them on the ass, add more confidence to them so that when they do something else, that's going to bite them on the ass twice as hard, or they feel like they've completed the task, but was it really a challenge after all? Do we need something better? Does that make sense?
Okay. So what we have not addressed yet is as Mary tries to build a new crew, she finds herself without a key person unless she is willing to accept someone. She reaches out to her mother about Hannah. So I think at this point we need to include that back in, and it gives an opportunity for the first test.
Okay.
Let's make it to tweak things up so that that person is actually more than willing. They've been trying to apply to be a Martian citizen for a long time, but been being rejected. And this gives them their credentials that they wanted. But that's not mixing it up. That's making it easy. The real beef is one of the people that is a Martian demands to be put in as the second in command. They want to lead the Martian colony. And that can't be because Tana is the second in command. So they try to negotiate a position of leadership within the leadership, getting a promotion per se. They're going to be a minor antagonist.
So the person the person from Earth would be the person they needed to help, and she accepted that. They're all for it, but now there's another person on the crew who wants to be promoted to second in command and wants to have a
Yeah,
major
they want
leadership.
to lead the group.
Okay, they want a major leadership role when they arrive at Alpha Centauri, or they want to lead the group now. That's what I'm asking. Do they want to see Tona rejected and put in their place? Their place. I'll clarify it.
Yes,
Okay.
to take Tana's place. Wants to be a leader to take Tana's place, um, and settles for a new role on the ship, a new political role on the ship.
Vice President of Alpha Centauri.
Oops,
Kind of thing.
that's fine.
Well, Vice
Yeah,
President is where you send people to the forgotten. Like it was an old tactic in the 19th century politics that if you wanted someone out of the way, you made your worst opponent vice president. Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, and Carnegie, they actually
let's make them.
the one time they all
Let's make
worked
them
together.
third in command.
Okay, but what I'm saying is the one time all three of those titans of industry worked together was to get Teddy Roosevelt in as VP because they knew that people would forget about him when he was very popular with the voters. So they said, let's put all our money into making him VP. But then McKinley got shot and he became president, so it bit him on the ass. That is a classic example of the hot shit syndrome biting you on the ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a real life incident. But yeah, so this could work. You know, it's being that in mind now. Things aren't looking too good for Tona. That's just my opinion.
Okay, so there's our first test.
Okay. So JJ, you have um, the first stumble,
Yep.
the C story, the second test, and that's it, right?
Team
A
is
team is forming.
forming,
Team is forming. Okay.
and the first stumble is like a problem, right?
Yeah, it's something that gives the confidence. It's not a real good kicking. It doesn't leave them completely destitute, but it takes the edge off them. It's like the first test was successful. Now there has to be something that hurts them in some way.
Hmm.
It's not devastating. It's not. The Death Star getting them caught in the tractor beam is a stumble. When they're
Yeah.
talking, that's the first stumble. I'm trying to think of some movies that you've seen. In the Goonies, the first stumble is the
Fratellis.
no, way before the Fratellis. It's Josh. The first stumble is when the FBI agent turns up at the holiday cafe
Oh,
and
yeah.
they get locked in. That is the first stumble. It's not devastating. It leads to a great story.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is kind of a Fratellis, but not the Fratellis. It's not the
Yeah.
Fratellis capture. It's seeing the Fratellis is the first stumble.
So, how about first stumble is the engine that is being taken isn't actually finished, so Earth was lying about their progress. So the stumble is they still have an incomplete engine.
Um,
I kind of like that.
I do like that. That's strong, and it also makes the mercenaries not as adept as they thought they were as well.
Yep,
Okay, like it. Can I add something to that?
of course.
The mercenaries realizing what they've done on Mars and what they've done on Earth, now there's no safe place. They demand a place on board the ship as well.
Yeah, there you go.
They want to go to Alpha Centauri as a military specialist unit.
And this stumble kind of hinders that a little bit because it's an incomplete product. They were they promised to bring a working engine.
Well, it can lead to intrigue, can it? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, you can take us to Mars, so you can take us to Alpha Centauri, or we can tell people where you got the engine from.
Yep.
And
Create a little dilemma along with the stumble.
yeah, well, it's all one big stumble. It's more of a
Yep.
trip, isn't it, than a stumble?
Domino effect.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. But
Okay.
it's not major either. It's just
Love it. Love it. Mad for it. Great. Love it. Juniper.
As far as the team is forming goes, I would probably go back to Mary's team and have her get a little bit closer with some of her shipmates and pick on a couple of extra people that you haven't introduced yet to kind of be on her team to to get the mission accomplished.
Okay. To do that, they need some kind of a task that isn't mission critical, but at the same time, it's relationship critical. So what would that task be? And it doesn't have to be
Trying
related. Go on.
trying to get the damaged engine back so at least it can be finished and they don't have the secrets that lie within the engine compartments that make it work.
Okay, so this group of people all get this damaged engine and they start working on it. They start sharing ideas, the team forms when the engine actually works. Is that what
sounds
you're
good.
saying? I just want to confirm that's what we're saying in the gym.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Love it. You see the story starting to form now?
Yeah.
So we've got the first stumble. Um, we have the C story, the the C story, the what's the other ones on the list? Sorry, on
C story and the second test
Second
left.
test.
the second test. Um, I'm going to set the second test here because I want to move the story along a bit because we're at the midpoint of the story now, right? Getting very close to the midpoint of the story. So what I'm going to say for the second test is um, the mercenaries are Mary is having this. It's going to look like the second test, but it's not the second test at first, all right? So Mary is talking to these mercenaries, and she's like, "If I'm going to give you a place on this tree, we've got the engine working, but you need to realise who's in command here. If I'm going to take you on as a military support unit, I am in charge of military affairs. You obey my orders, and that's it. The second you don't is the second you're gone." And the guy's like, "And who's going to do it? You know?" She said, "We are going to be on a spaceship traveling at the speed of light. Who are you going to call for help?" And he's like, "Okay, you make a good point." So
I
the
like
second,
that because she comes in super strong. Like, you're gonna do this and you're not gonna question my authority because of that whole feminine thing where you need to kind of come off as stronger towards like masculine characters.
yeah. But as she's doing that, so like her mom says in the background, she says, "Now you're learning," you know.
I
So she's
like
got her
that.
approval from her mom, and she's like, um, and the second in command says, "I agree with you, mother." And she's like, "What?" She says, "Well, some people would say it's good to fight fire with fire, but I'm sure you get a much better result with a fire extinguisher because she never uses straight beam, you see." But
I
impressed.
missed what this is doing. There was a hiccup connection.
Okay,
What is the second test?
the second test, I haven't got to the second test yet. It just looks like the second test, and that the head of the mercenaries wants to go in and sort of like intimidate Mary, but Mary is like, "Yeah, it's very easy for you to make those threats here while we're still on Mars, but before you know it, we'll be like, I'm just gonna change it up a little bit. But once we're the other side of Neptune, who are you gonna call for help? I am in charge here, and if you are going to be on my ship, I am in charge." And she immediately gets approval from the second in command and the mother's hologram. And the politician, let's put them all there because the team's going stronger, right? So this mercenary who knows all these secrets comes in all heavy-handed and he's just basically put him right in his place. But he's actually impressed with it. He is very impressed. And he's like, "That's what a commander should be." And he's walking out and he's like, "I'm happy about this." And as he's walking out, he's whistling a tune, he's being the happy mercenary and everything. And who walks past him but the lackey? The lackey that he knew about because he gave the instructions to that lackey on how to destroy the previous ship. And he walks past him and he sees him. He stops, turns around, and the lackey's looking at him and shoots him. And he hits the alarm. But as he hits the alarm, he says, "The saboteur is here. The saboteur that destroyed the first ship is here." And they're like,
Who shoots the lackey?
the lackey shoots the mercenary. The lackey runs away. It's like the mercenary's walking down like this, sees him, he goes, morning, morning, and he realizes it's the lackey of the politician. The mercenary stops, he turns around. I'm going to call the mercenary Jim Bob for the right? Jim Bob. So Jim Bob turns around, he looks at the lackey. The lackey looks at him. Jim Bob goes for his gun. The lackey is already waiting with his gun and shoots him. So he drops down, but he's got enough in him to raise the alarm. The lackey goes running off deeper into the ship, and he's able to say to them, the saboteur is on the ship. You've got to find him. He will destroy everything. And then dies. Right? The chief of the mercenaries dies. But, yeah, gone. He has ceased to be. He's the next mercenary. But then they have to find the saboteur on the ship, and that's the challenge. That's the second test. Finding the saboteur before he can do irreparable damage, because they don't know what he's got. And that's it. It's a showdown with the saboteur. And once the saboteur gets cornered, he's about to confess everything, and the top of his head just explodes. And one of the mercenaries is there, picks it up, and he goes, "This is top grade military hardware. It's what we use when we're tracking high value targets. It's designed that you can explode this little chip at the drop of a hat.
That's cool.
Whoever did this knows someone who's high up." Um, and that's the second test. The second test is you're facing someone who's not just a crazy rebel seditionist who's motivated by religious beliefs and stuff like that. You are facing someone here who is highly motivated, highly funded, and has access to a lot of shit. Dun, dun, dun. And on that, I'm going to hand the last part of this over, the sea story, to Simon.
Okay, so this was the one section I was hoping I did not get
Okay.
because I don't write um, small little micro plots. My plots are the long, drawn out ones that are layered over each other in like all kinds of depth. So I'm not sure how to interject a short little story that doesn't have to do with the whole plot.
Don't look at it like a short story that goes with the entire plot. Look at it as something that complements the plot. It's a short story that's buried that complements the story. Do you want some examples of really cool sea plots?
The problem with that is probably going to be that you're going to reference movies that I haven't watched because I don't watch a lot of television, that kind of media.
I was going to reference books as well, but
Yeah.
the sea story in Star Wars is the sea story in Star Wars, the original trilogy, is it's the last thing that's introduced. They owe money to Jabba the Hutt, but it builds up the start of Return of the Jedi. So that's what a sea plot does. Um, it complements the story, it doesn't direct the story. Usually you see like a romance in a book, or what's your favorite book? Mainstream.
Fiction book.
Yeah, mainstream fiction book. Just throw a few titles at
Mistborn.
Mistborn. Okay, C plot in Mistborn. Dead easy. Um, the the Steel Eye or the Ionite, the guy who can't talk.
Iron. Yeah.
Right, right. His feelings for his feeling. I can't remember the girl's name now.
Then.
Vin, thank you. his feelings for Vin is a bit of a C plot because his feelings for Vin make her realize that she has feelings for. I keep going to say her, but it's not his name. The guy
Okay,
with
how
the
does this sound for a C plot? Wing
yeah.
it.
Before you go on, who was the guy who had the books in this one? The guy who
Brandon Sanderson.
no, the guy who wears the white suit in the story, not the savior. I can't say what he becomes in case nobody's seen it,
Are you talking
but
about Kelsier?
no,
Oh, you're talking about the guy that was castrated.
no, the main guy in the book, but not the. I'm trying to do this without giving any spoilers away. He ends up wearing a fully white suit as a uniform.
Yeah, you got me on my memory. Sorry.
He meets Vin at the ball when he's reading books.
Okay, well, can I guess at my C plot?
Yes, sure. I'm gonna look that up.
Okay, so the mother's not dead. It's a clone of her consciousness. And when Mary goes to consult it, she can't get an answer back. So she actually contacts her mother on Earth.
I kind of like that too.
That is
Like where the mom's not actually dead, but she is.
Yeah.
that is actually quite brilliant because now the sea story is a bomb on Earth. Does that put a mom in jeopardy?
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
It depends on if people know about her still being alive.
That would have to be cleared up later in the sea story.
Yep.
But where is Silas going with this? Silas, where are you going with
Oh, I had no clue. I was just making up a small little plot.
Yeah, it worked.
this? I would say that if they find out that she is leading the mission and the mom's on Earth, um, if our junior politician, I forgot what her name's in there,
Uh, are we talking Medley Simmons?
Medley Simmons, if Medley Simmons is saying that and the antagonist finally reveals himself and says to Medley, so everything is going, and she's like, it's going fine. We have a bit of Mary has a bit of a hang up right now. She's trying to get in communication with the mother with Earth on shutdown because of the sabotage of their spacecraft. She's trying to get in touch with the mother on Earth, but having a little difficulty. I thought her mother was dead. Oh no, she's alive. She just cloned the consciousness as an advice. He's just giving the worst information to the antagonist, and that's when we can actually see the antagonist reveal his face. Like he will actually go in and say, "I'd like you, your messages there through the different communication sources. I'd like you to look into someone for me." Dun, dun, dun. There's your sea story.
Okay, I winged it. Yay.
Good
Yeah,
for you, Silas.
that's the whole purpose of the show, Silas.
Good job.
It just we developed it together. That's right. That is part. What time is it, by the way? We started at 8,
It is a
7:15.
quarter after 6.
quarter after 9 my time. So we've got 15 minutes to wrap this up, so it's going to be quick fire. I will go a little bit over if we need to, but we are going to start level 6, and I'm going to bring that up again for you all who are watching. So level 6, and I don't have the I've got all my screens are in use right now. Okay. So usually level 6 means a lot of these start melting together because that's part of the writing process. You know, that's how our brain works. You start seeing lines everywhere. So I'm going to put the main screen back on here. Which one of those do you want to pick? And what we do in level 6, we do things a little bit different, guys. If you think that you can fit any other one of those in to what someone else is saying, speak up. So look at the headings again. We have once more, please, Silas.
The team grows stronger. We lost Juniper, yeah. The team grows stronger. The first loss. The bad guys assumed win. The leaders go alone. A new motivation. End C story. A motivation for all.
Okay. So I hope Juniper's coming back because I don't yeah, there she is.
Oh, here we go.
Nice one, Juniper. And as soon as she turns her camera back on, she should jump up in so it'll be right in the back in the right order again. Can you hear us, Juniper?
About that, my entire system just crashed.
Oh,
Oh, well, welcome back.
Fun.
are you on the phone? Did you hear anything of what I was saying?
Heard part of
Before you-
it.
Okay. But basically, we're in level 6 right now. If something you see fits in with whatever somebody else is saying, just go ahead, shout out, say we could put this in here. So those headings again for level 6, if you could go over them once more, please, Silas.
The team grows stronger. The first loss. The bad guys assumed win. The leaders struggle alone. A new motivation. End C story. A motivation for all.
Okay then. So let's go with JJ first. Which one of
Um,
those do you want?
Can you tell me about First Loss a little bit?
The first loss is usually a character has ceased to be, or there has been a devastating loss which puts back their mission terribly to the point that it seems like the the protagonist has become isolated to the point, or they cannot um, their have you seen Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah.
You know when the medic dies?
Yeah.
No, sorry. You know when Vin Diesel dies and Captain
Oh, yeah.
America, Tom Hanks is like, that's why we don't take children, you know?
Yep.
That's his first loss. And that first loss builds you up to when the medic dies. And after the medic dies, that's when he goes off. He confesses where he's from to the team to try and hold them together. That's their new motivation. But then he walks off and he cries to himself.
Oh, can
All
I
right.
please throw out a suggestion here?
Yeah, I've got one too.
Okay, this is what level 6 is all about.
Yeah.
So
Kill the mother.
Yeah, thank you, Silas. Kill the mom back off. Like, you thought she was alive, that gives you enough hope to go to Earth and then kill her off. Thank you, Silas.
okay, so that's the first loss, I guess. Unless you want to add
And
something to
end of
that,
the C
JJ,
story.
because it is your, it is your.
I was thinking that second in command finds the what do you call it? Crap. The lackey, and the lackey gets her too, or them.
The lucky. I just killed the lucky. It did blow up.
I didn't. I guess I missed that part. It's kind of crackling in and out.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's
Okay.
alright. The lucky's
Yeah,
dead.
mother then.
Yeah. Okay, so mom's dead, so that ends the C story. Um, it's the first loss.
So that took care of 2 and 1.
Yeah, and I think we could argue. Well, I'm gonna see where Jennifer goes first.
Man, I wasted my suggestion on killing the mother with Silas here. Hang on.
Kill the mother with Silas. Oh, you've got accomplices there.
Yeah.
So you've got
Oh, I like the bad guys assumed win with the mom being off now. They think that that sets Anna or Mary, and not Anna. Well, they think that sets Mary back to a point where they think they have the win. They can they've got all the code to the engine that they stole, and they're getting ready to unlock all the answers that they need there. But I would put that that was their assumed win. Like now they've got all the time in the world to dissect this engine.
Yeah, that works. Especially since it won't actually set her back since she has her mom's consciousness with her. So
Oh no, I
it's
would
a
take the
good
mom's
assume.
consciousness away too. Like I would
yeah,
kill that off.
Oh,
lose it completely. I'm a little bit confused on what you mean. The engine's working. We have the engine working.
Not the one that they stole that was only partially
yeah.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it
said.
wasn't.
Hold on, I was right. I was sitting right here. We said that was when the team comes together. They got the engine
Oh,
working.
yeah, that's right. Sorry, brain fart.
Um,
That was the team is forming
yeah,
and they come together to finish off the engine.
they get the engine fixed. So, bad guys assumed win. You need something different. Well, the bad guys assumed win. He killed the mom. So, can we turn that away? Like, you've got the assumed victory. How can he turn the death of her mom into seeing Mary not in charge of this mission anymore and basically break up the crew?
I mean, would you want to go back to Earth where your mom was just killed?
No, I'm talking. That is, you see, that leads right into the leader stands alone, right? So I'm probably gonna kill three or four in one go here. He assumes the win because he says her mom is from her, and she was working as the captain of the Martian thing, and our ship got destroyed while she was in second in command. And now we find out that her mother's a Martian. Can she be trusted? I want to launch a full investigation into her and the crew, and I want the crew broken up. And that's his assumed win. He thinks he stopped the whole thing because he's basically thrown the entire crew into disrepute. I knew they weren't ready for this. We need to train people again. Everything was done. Hodgepodge, and this is what happened. We ended up putting a potential spy in charge of our mission. That's his assumed win as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So she's now lost her command. She's lost her mom. The guy who was going to be, they fire the politician guy. They follow Smedley. Smedley.
That leaves her feeling alone.
That leaves her feeling completely alone, and that is when she thinks, "Why is he sabotaging this?" And she calls up her second in command and says, "Why is he sabotaging this? Why have I done anything wrong?" And I haven't done anything wrong. All I did was try and make this mission work. And she breaks down and starts crying. And that only leaves one left, I think. Because I just covered the leader feels alone. We've ended the sea story. Have you got the checklist there? We ended the sea story. We had the assumed win. The
First
leader feels
loss.
alone. The first loss. It's a
We
new
need team
motivation.
grow stronger and a motivation for all.
So we need the motivation for all and the
Team grow
motivation for all
stronger.
and the team grows stronger. Um, what we need to find is motivation and a way to make the team stronger because right now everything's lost.
The motivation is the antagonist. You were just talking about how she went to the second in command and was asking why is he trying to sabotage this? Well, that brings the team, the motivation and it gets them stronger at the same time because they're all working together then.
Yeah, the only question I've got here for you all as a group, and I'm going to stay out of this and let you guys decide it. I need a suspension of disbelief that this story worked. I need to know how she's going to be feeling from nothing to suddenly figuring out well, that's gonna come in the third act. Is the new motivation to prove her innocence and get, and let the team stronger that way? How is it that they are going to? I need to know what's going to motivate them. There needs to be a trigger to motivate them. There needs to find some information
I
from
think the
somewhere.
trigger would be the
I'd put
antagonist.
another family member on Earth.
Yeah, that's what I say. You've got to help me out. You've got to tell me what that
Like, yeah, the mom's gone, but you still have like a brother down there.
and what's he going to do. That's my point. Something has to happen here that's big enough to snap her out of her grief and lead her to take on the guy who's still unknown at this point. He's just
I'd
a guy
make
with,
her get a message. Now that her mom's been off, I would make her get a transmission from her mom that was pre-recorded in case something happened to her mom, letting her know that there's still something back on Earth that she has to go pick up, i.e., the other family member.
Or a backup consciousness.
Yeah, I like that idea.
okay, my question still stands. What's the motivation? The team growing stronger would take her back to Earth and find a way to get this message. I get that, like getting this message, but what is so earth crushingly important that she's going to go to the rest of the team and say, I'll give you an example. I'm going to give you a couple of examples here. This is what I need from this story at this point.
Actually, I think I might have it for you. I'm sorry. I was
Okay.
just thinking of it.
Can I just
Maybe the
explain
most.
this? Can I explain
Okay.
this for the purpose of the viewers, and then I'll let you go for it. All right? Is that cool with you,
Yeah.
JJ? Okay. The When the president in Independence Day says kill them all, and then the next thing you see is making that speech, you know, the today will not just be the Independence Day for America, but it will be the Independence Day for the world. We will not go quietly into the night, you know. I had to learn that speech for my citizenship exam. That was a joke. That is the motivation, and when they're all tapping away on the Morse code and everything, there's the motivation for all.
I would make the motivation to separate the elite from the poor. Everybody's talking about status and symbols in the space race. The space race is about the money, who can afford to get there.
JJ, what was your idea?
Well, it was going to be based off of the mom's history because we never gave her one. Why is she a Martian on Earth? Because she is kind of like a plant, like a spy. Someone who, or even someone high up in like let's say the Martian slash Earth UN type thing. So she has a lot of info about both sides, and she knows a lot about the antagonist. And the message that she gets tells her that she has evidence that he is the one who blew up the ship. So the team goes there to try to get it before, someone prevents them. Just an idea.
That begs the question of why she held on to the evidence when she's the woman's mother.
Because she just got it. And she wrote it down and put it in safekeeping until she can get it to her. I mean, you're not going to send that over the wire because it can be
So that was the motivation
someone
to
can
have her
grab it.
visit the mother in the first place?
Yeah. It's just an idea though. I mean, if you guys can think of something better, I was just thinking that'd be kind of cool and it gives them a reason to go to Earth, team up, get what they need to from her mom passing. And it also clears, you know, the captain at the same time. So, I mean, everyone's like, oh, you know, just a thought.
Has anybody else got anything to add? Because I think I've got something. But I want to see if you guys are the guests. so I need to see what you guys think first. So, Juniper,
No, I think I'm about talked out, man.
Cyrus, JJ, anything else?
No.
Okay. To the viewers out there, this is why outlining is so cool because you can go back and you can say, okay, I need to make this work. These guys have got a great idea. I can go back in the story and make this work by pulling something forward. So I am going to say this. What if the mom is a delegate?
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, she's a delegate to sort of like she's the ambassador of Mars, right? On Earth, she's the
Yep.
Martian ambassador, right? And when the ship is attacked on Earth, when the mercenaries destroy the ship, the same way as they did the Martian job, one of them gets captured, right? But this guy knows that his mercenary brothers have got away, so it's the mercenary terms now death before dishonor. And he said it's the plan that we were given when we destroyed the Martian ship. And I'll only talk to the Martian ambassador as a Martian. They tell Earth that's when they go on lockdown, so that she can't send the message and warn Mars. Then she gets unalived. Then they know they've got to get to Earth and recover the message. Then we can go into Act 3. Act 3 is going to explain how they get there and get all this information. And then when they get back to Mars, they will have the information that says the hit was forwarded by such and such. And the group of mercenaries are going to lead list and like lost one of their comrades. They're the ones who take her and prove that that's how we did it.
Sounds good.
You know? So all of that information ties together by just going back and having someone capture the mission to steal the rocket, because now we have everything about stealing that engine, which looked like it was a minor victory, now becomes such an important part of the plot. It gets wrapped up at the end of Act 2 because we know that all of that led to another series of events that is actually going to help her with, and that's the new motivation for all. That is, they're in their darkness. They receive a message from her brother sent to a secure diplomatic means that says, I have the evidence, but I cannot send it. You've got to come and pick it up. It's too important to send. And if the wrong people see it, it would be dangerous.
That way it's not intercepted.
Yeah. So they have to find a way onto her with the mercenaries. The team comes together. It's a new motivation. They know that they can all get off the Alpha Centauri on the ship that they worked on and bring down the bad guy. The guy who had the first Martian ship destroyed and her mother killed. Everybody lost somebody. Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah.
Are you happy
Yeah,
with that?
I like the way that that kind of concludes.
Yeah. Sounds awesome.
And that takes us into Act 3, which we don't touch because Act 3 is going to be for whoever wants to take this story and finish it. Any one of the viewers out there, anyone finding this in the future can find this. And if you want to take the first 2 acts that we've done, please watch episode 1, please watch episode 2. And then you can take the 3rd act. You can send us an email or you can drop a message in the comments and get a copy of the evolution method, the steampunk wordsmith evolution method created by me, Montgomery Harris, and enjoyed this evening by Juniper, by Cyrus, and by JJ as we created the first 2 parts of the story. If you want to finish the story, please do so without any expectations of royalties or copyright from any of us here. Raise your hand if you agree. Thank
A
you.
mention would be nice, though.
But I mentioned, but we'd also like to say, please let us know if you do write the story. We would love to read it and see how you finished it.
Right?
I know you tweaked it as well. How you made little changes to make it work. So with that, I am going to say there are going to be some changes to the writers' room henceforth. This is the last episode in this format. It's the last episode that we'll be doing on the writers' channel separately. Due to life concerns and running two podcasts and the Steampunk Wordsmith podcast, I now have to combine the two podcasts into one. So the writers' room will become a feature of the Steampunk Wordsmith, and we'll be concentrating more on steampunk, cyberpunk, dieselpunk, and all of the punks. But I can still invite authors on who are specialists in what the subgenre is. So, for instance, if I was doing a murder mystery in a steampunk setting, I could invite JJ on. If I was doing a, I considered I consider Juniper to be a woman in peril writer, from what I've heard about your books. So, but I haven't read any of your books, so that's just a wild assumption. Please tell me what you write if you want to disagree.
You're muted.
I think she has noise in the background, so she's not unmuting.
Yeah, there
Oh,
was stuff in the background.
okay. But I'm going to consider you a woman in peril from what you've told me about your books. It's an old genre, so that's what strong female protagonist was called in the early 90s, woman in jeopardy. So I'll just remind you, I can't see you. So, um, but so we'll be inviting people on the Steampunk Wordsmith podcast. It won't be a weekly thing anymore. It will be done like this, two weekly episodes, and I will be throwing them in as a special feature on the Steampunk Wordsmith podcast. There's only so much time I have during the day, guys, and that is the best way I can maintain doing this and maintain doing the other podcast as well. So on that bombshell, I am going to say any final thoughts from my guests.
I'm good.
Now, this has been a lot of fun, though. I've
Heck
honestly
yeah.
feel like I've expanded a little bit as an author going into a genre that's not something that I normally write. So,
Yeah. Do any of you feel I have to ask these questions for part of the podcast? Do any of you guys feel like you have learned something other than just about the genre, but something about how story mechanics work?
Yeah.
I've found it interesting how you broke up the story into different aspects of it. And I've looked at how I apply my own techniques through storytelling and how they differ. Everybody has their own style that is going to work for them. And even within the methodology, whether it's evolution, save the cat, or whatever, you're going to take from there the things that work best for you and use them as tools to strengthen your writing.
Absolutely. It's about finding your method, and the more guides you try, the better your method will produce. I started on the 3924 method, sorry, 3927 method. When I first started writing. Juniper, how about you? What that's the question I'm going to ask all of you in closing. What do you feel you have gained from this experience as a writer?
what do I think I've gained? Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. Um, Story building and character development, honestly.
well, that's
I'm
good.
real quick to just write something down, and I'm real hesitant to go back in and like expand on the topic. So forcing me to do that was kind of uncomfortable, but I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I hope you'll take that and use it in the future because they're your characters. You're their god. You deserve to give them everything you can. That's the way I look at it. You know. JJ, what do you feel you learned from this experience?
I can tell you right now, no matter how prepared you think you're going to be, you're not. You're still going to stumble. I mean, you could tell at the beginning of this podcast, I was stumbling. I thought I was prepared. I wasn't. So,
You're supposed to stumble.
Oh yeah, but I kind of fell flat on my face on that first one. So
No, I don't mean just on the podcast. If you can sit down and write a manuscript from beginning to end without stumbling, please tell me how you do it. All right?
Yeah.
I need
yeah,
to
like I
know.
was saying, you're going to
Yeah,
stumble.
yeah. The stumbling is part of the story creation because that stumble actually takes you back. It's like you give your characters a stumble so that they grow. You give them a stumble and a fall so that they
It makes
grow.
you grow too.
That's what you have to do for yourself. Everything you do for your character. Silas, what did you think about this experience, buddy?
Well, I think I already addressed that in how I said I compared and contrasted it with my writing and stuff. The last words that I would want to say to anybody is keep writing.
Heck
It's
yeah.
the only thing that makes you a writer.
Yep.
You know, you can be the best marketer in the world, but it doesn't make you a writer. Writing makes you a writer. My final thoughts on this is this has been the start of a good story. I have never written an off-world sci-fi before, ever. I've done a military sci-fi that was off-world on the podcast, but I've never done a true scientific intrigue. This to me read like it could have been a Star Trek movie, or it could have been a Battlestar Galactica movie kind of thing. You know, it had that kind of vibe to it. Does everyone else agree with me on that one?
It was damn close.
It had that vibe to it. But on that bombshell, I am going to say my name is Montgomery Harris. I am the steampunk wordsmith. This has been the final episode of the Writers Room Live. Please go and follow the Steampunk Wordsmith podcast. It's right here on YouTube. I will put a link in the description. You will see more of this there if you subscribe over there. Um, you know, please stay with it. I wish I could continue to do this every week. Unfortunately, I just cannot. And I will say, have a great week, and I will see you soon. This is Monty signing off. Say bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.